It was a morning that shook the royal world to its core. King Charles, in a rare and decisive move, officially revoked Prince Harry's royal title. The news landed like a thunderbolt, leaving palace aides scrambling and royal watchers around the globe stunned. Harry, once a celebrated figure in the monarchy, was now officially stripped of the honors that had defined him since birth. Inside the palace, the corridors buzzed with tension. Courtiers whispered about the unprecedented nature of this decision. Some called it long overdue, others feared the rift it would deepen. For the first time, the world saw a monarch exercising such absolute authority over a son who had been beloved by millions. The official statement was concise but sharp, emphasizing King Charles's unwavering commitment to the integrity of the royal institution. There was no ambiguity. Harry's title was gone, effective immediately. Minihook, what could have driven Charles to take such a dramatic step against his own son? Royal insiders suggest that this was not a sudden decision. Behind closed doors, disagreements between father and son had been simmering for years. Reports of arguments over public duties, media interviews, and perceived breaches of protocol created a tense backdrop. Charles, known for his patience and strategic thinking, had reached a point where action seemed inevitable. The move was calculated, intended to protect the monarchy's image even at the cost of family harmony. The announcement also came with subtle but clear boundaries. Harry would no longer represent the crown in official matters, and his access to royal resources would be significantly limited. While he remains a prince by birth, the weight and privileges of his former title are gone. Social media exploded instantly, with headlines ranging from sympathy for Harry to support for King Charles's decisive action. Inside Harry's circle, reactions were volatile. Advisors warned him to prepare for a media storm, while close friends feared the emotional toll. Sources suggest that Harry felt blindsided, even though the tensions had been building for months. Emotional confrontations behind palace doors reportedly escalated, with heated words exchanged and relationships strained beyond repair. Minihook, could this revocation signal the start of a permanent rift within the royal family, or is there still hope for reconciliation? The world watched as a new chapter unfolded in the monarchy saga, one defined by power, protocol, and personal conflict. King Charles's decision was more than a legal formality. It was a dramatic statement that reverberated far beyond the walls of Buckingham Palace. The news of King Charles officially revoking his royal title didn't just make headlines, it hit Prince Harry like a punch to the chest. Behind the ornate walls of his residence, far from the public eye, emotions ran high. Sources say Harry felt a storm of disbelief, hurt, and anger. For someone who had spent his entire life under the public gaze, to have a defining part of his identity stripped away was more than just a procedural move. It was deeply personal. Friends close to Harry described scenes of quiet devastation. He reportedly walked the halls in silence, replaying the announcement over and over in his mind. Private conversations with Meghan Markle were tense, as both tried to process the implications of this unprecedented royal maneuver. Emotional confrontation wasn't far behind. Advisors say Harry demanded answers, wanting to know why the decision wasn't discussed more thoroughly before it became public. Minihook, did Harry ever imagine this day would come, or was he preparing for it all along? It's said that the prince's inner circle debated their next moves carefully. Some urged immediate media response, warning that silence could be interpreted as weakness. Others counseled restraint, suggesting that public statements should be carefully crafted to avoid inflaming tensions further. Even within this trusted group, opinions clashed, reflecting the broader uncertainty that now gripped the royal family. Harry's reaction wasn't only emotional, it was strategic. He reportedly began evaluating the long-term impact on his personal brand, charitable initiatives, and the foundation work he had undertaken with Meghan. The revocation of his title created not only a family rift but a public identity crisis. He had to reconcile being a royal in name only, while simultaneously defining himself outside the traditional expectations of the monarchy. Meanwhile, private exchanges with King Charles are said to have been tense and minimal. Sources suggest that while there was no shouting match, the atmosphere was thick with unresolved tension. Harry reportedly felt a profound sense of betrayal, believing that his father's decision overlooked years of service, sacrifice, and commitment to charitable causes. Minihook, could this tension escalate into a permanent estrangement, or is a reconciliation still possible? Despite the emotional turmoil, Harry's circle notes a quiet determination in him. Far from giving up, He began planning how to assert his independence and protect his family from further fallout. It's a balancing act of loyalty, personal dignity, and public perception, a high-stakes chess game inside one of the world's most famous families. As news of Harry's revoked title spread, whispers began circulating through the grand halls of Buckingham Palace and beyond. Courtiers, aides, and longtime royal insiders shared observations in hushed tones, revealing a side of palace life rarely seen by the public. Tensions were high, and everyone seemed to sense that this was more than a personal family dispute, it was a seismic shift in the monarchy itself. Mini-Hook, what secret disagreements were bubbling behind the palace walls, hidden from the public eye? Sources claim the decision didn't happen in isolation. King Charles had been receiving repeated warnings from senior advisors about the potential risks of Harry and Meghan's public actions. Interviews, memoirs, and media appearances that challenged the royal narrative were seen as threats to the institution's image. While Harry had long argued for independence and freedom from royal constraints, the palace viewed these actions as a breaking point. Charles's move, insiders say, was meant to reassert control and set a precedent for any future family conflicts. Meanwhile, courtiers who remained loyal to Harry reportedly felt torn. Some admired his courage and willingness to break tradition, while others worried that the public fallout would irreparably damage the family's reputation. Conversations in the palace tea rooms were laced with speculation. Was this the only way? Could reconciliation have been possible? What does this mean for William and Catherine? The atmosphere was electric, charged with anxiety and curiosity. Mini-Hook, rumors suggest that certain palace staff even secretly predicted this exact scenario months in advance. The whispers extended beyond the walls of Buckingham. Royal correspondents, eager for any insider information, began piecing together a timeline of disputes, disagreements, and strategic missteps. Some suggested that Harry's growing independence had been a thorn in Charles's side for years, and that the revocation was as much about preserving the monarchy's authority as it was about family discipline. Others pointed to a cultural clash, the old traditions of royal duty colliding with Harry's modern, media-savvy approach. Even family dynamics became a topic of speculation. William and Catherine reportedly had private discussions about how to navigate the fallout without appearing divided in public. Tensions between the brothers were said to be rising, with loyalty and duty pulling in opposite directions. The palace whispers hinted at quiet alliances forming behind closed doors, with advisors and family members each jockeying for position in this delicate, high-stakes game. Mini-Hook, could one overheard remark or leaked conversation ignite a new crisis within the royal family? In the midst of all this, Harry's own network remained vigilant, monitoring the palace chatter and preparing for any sudden shifts. One thing was clear, the revocation of a royal title wasn't just a headline, it was a spark that could set off a chain reaction, with every whisper inside the palace potentially shaping the next move in this unfolding drama. The revocation of Harry's royal title didn't just rattle him, it sent shockwaves through the entire royal family. Inside the palace, private meetings became tense negotiations, with every word weighed for its potential to ignite further conflict. William, long seen as the stabilizing force, reportedly struggled to balance loyalty to his brother with his duty to support his father, King Charles. The tension between the brothers was palpable, with sources describing strained phone calls and awkward family gatherings. Mini-Hook, could this divide between Harry and William be irreparable, or is a truce still possible? Catherine, often the quiet strategist of the family, reportedly stepped in to mediate, offering calm advice and emotional support where she could. But even her presence couldn't fully diffuse the storm. Advisors observed subtle shifts in behavior at public events, noting tense glances, stiff interactions, and conversations that avoided key topics. Every move was carefully choreographed to avoid an outright public display of discord, but insiders say the strain was unmistakable. Meanwhile, King Charles faced his own pressures. The decision to revoke Harry's title had long-term implications for the monarchy's image and succession planning. Some close aides reportedly warned that the move could alienate the public and create sympathy for Harry, potentially undermining the crown's authority. But Charles, known for his strategic patience, appeared determined to maintain control, prioritizing institutional stability over familial harmony. Mini-Hook, was King Charles prepared for the personal cost of this decision, or did he underestimate the emotional fallout? The tension extended to other family members as well. Meghan Markle, though living primarily in the United States, became a focal point of palace conversations. Her influence on Harry and her media presence were often cited as complicating factors in the ongoing family dynamics. Some insiders claim that palace staff debated how much involvement she should have in official discussions, reflecting an underlying concern about maintaining tradition versus adapting to a modern royal reality. Even ceremonial events took on a charged atmosphere. Every appearance, handshake, and public statement was scrutinized for hidden meaning, with commentators and insiders reading between the lines. Minor gestures were dissected, with analysts speculating about alliances, resentment, and potential reconciliation. The palace had become a chessboard, each move calculated, each reaction carefully observed. Minihook, with every tense interaction and whispered remark, could a single misstep escalate this rift into a full-blown family crisis? As the royal family navigated this delicate period, it became clear that Harry's stripped title was more than a symbolic gesture. It was a test of loyalty, strategy, and endurance. Every member was forced to consider not only personal feelings but also the long-term survival of the monarchy, creating an intricate web of tension that few outside the palace could fully comprehend. As soon as King Charles's announcement reached the public, the reaction was explosive. Headlines dominated newspapers, news channels, and social media feeds around the world. The story of Prince Harry losing his royal title became the top trending topic in multiple countries, sparking debates, outrage, and sympathy in equal measure. Royal fans, commentators, and casual observers all weighed in, each interpretation fueling the next wave of media frenzy. Minihook: could the public backlash reshape the monarchy itself, or only deepen the divide within the family? Supporters of Harry expressed shock and dismay, flooding social media with messages of solidarity. Many argued that he had sacrificed enough for the crown and questioned why King Charles would take such a drastic step against his own son. Memes, hashtags, and opinion pieces painted a picture of a prince punished for asserting his independence, a narrative that resonated strongly with global audiences. Some commentators even compared the move to historical royal power struggles, suggesting this was not just a family dispute but a pivotal moment in modern monarchy. On the other side, traditionalists applauded Charles's decision as a necessary assertion of authority. They framed the revocation as a reinforcement of royal duty and discipline, arguing that no member of the family, regardless of fame, should be exempt from the responsibilities of their station. Analysts noted that this segment of the public saw Harry's previous interviews and media ventures as damaging to the monarchy, framing Charles's move as an effort to safeguard the institution's reputation. Minihook: how would Harry respond to a media storm this intense, with global audiences scrutinizing his every move? Media outlets quickly dug deeper, uncovering long-standing tensions and rumored conflicts between father and son. Leaks from palace insiders hinted at months, if not years, of disagreements that set the stage for this dramatic action. Royal correspondents speculated on everything from Harry's relationship with Meghan Markle to his recent charitable endeavors, interpreting each detail as evidence of a growing rift. Even in everyday conversations, people debated the morality and consequences of the revocation. Talk shows, podcasts, and online forums buzzed with speculation. Would this create lasting damage to Harry's reputation? Could the prince regain his title in the future? Would public opinion pressure King Charles to reconsider? The discussion extended beyond the palace walls, turning the royal family's private conflict into a global spectacle. Minihook: could the intensity of public scrutiny force the royals into concessions, or would it harden their positions even further? As the media storm raged, the monarchy faced a delicate balancing act. Every statement, appearance, or silence by any family member was analyzed for hidden meaning. The palace had to navigate a dual crisis, managing the internal family fallout while controlling the narrative before it spiraled completely out of their hands. In the modern era, royal drama wasn't just about protocol, it was a high-stakes battle played out in front of billions. With his royal title officially revoked, Prince Harry now faces a future that is both uncertain and profoundly different. No longer carrying the official duties and privileges of a senior royal, he must redefine his role, not just in the monarchy, but in the world at large. Sources close to him say he is determined to carve out a path that balances family loyalty with personal freedom, but the road ahead is fraught with challenges. Minihook: could Harry transform this setback into his most powerful chapter yet, or will it deepen his estrangement from the royal family? One immediate consequence is the shift in public perception. Harry must now navigate life as a high-profile royal in name only, stripped of official authority but still under the constant gaze of the media. His philanthropic work, business ventures, and public appearances will be scrutinized through a new lens, with every action interpreted as either defiance or reconciliation. Advisors reportedly encourage him to maintain a careful balance, assert independence while avoiding gestures that could be seen as provocative toward the crown. Meanwhile, personal relationships within the royal family are in flux. William and Charles reportedly remain wary of Harry's next moves, observing closely for signs of reconciliation or further divergence. Meghan Markle continues to play a key role in guiding Harry, helping him navigate not only the practical challenges of his altered status but also the emotional toll of being publicly stripped of his title. The couple's strategy, insiders say, is to focus on their family and charitable goals while keeping lines of communication open with the palace, however strained those lines may be. Mini-hook: will Harry ever regain a royal title, or is this the beginning of a permanent redefinition of his place in the monarchy? Financial independence is another major consideration. Without the privileges tied to his former title, Harry will rely increasingly on private ventures and media deals to sustain his lifestyle and philanthropic initiatives. While this independence offers freedom, it also brings pressure. He must navigate a world where success and public opinion are tightly intertwined. Advisors reportedly caution that missteps could be amplified, turning personal projects into public controversies. Despite these challenges, sources emphasize Harry's resilience. Friends and insiders describe him as focused and strategic, channeling emotional turmoil into purposeful action. He is reportedly working on projects that highlight his values and passions, seeking to create a legacy that extends beyond royal titles.